Sarah deserves every terrible thing coming to her. I mean, if she doesn't die by the end of this season, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna say. No, the monsters are gonna get Sarah. This isn't good. Please don't die. Yeah, this show works. Hey guys, it's Dan, your host, your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for today. This one's going to be doing another video. This one is my next review for From. This is for Season 2. So, this season, man, I don't think I've watched a season so fast of TV in a while, honestly. I mean, I just reviewed Season 1, so you can check that out on the channel if you're interested as well. We are powering through From, guys. We are now getting into Season 3 here very soon. I'm probably going to be starting it here over the weekend. But, yeah, very, very excited for, just to talk about this season, because this season was insane. You know, I heard a lot of people tell me that this season wasn't all that good. I completely disagree. I think it's phenomenal. I had issues with the season. I do have some flaws, which we'll get into, but I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was just a step lower than 1, and not by much, honestly. I really enjoyed Season 2, and I thought it was really good. I thought the storytelling was good. I thought it was intriguing. You know, that's actually the one thing I think that Season 2 is better than Season 1 at, is I think the story was more intriguing, and there was more being told to us and stuff. So I would say that about Season 2. But yeah, no, this is a great season. So we're gonna delve into it. So spoiler warning, of course, if you ain't seen the season yet. But let's get into it. So this season, right, kind of just brings you right into what it is. They introduce a bunch of new characters. They have a brand new crew of people on this bus that ride into town, basically, and they are kind of having to adjust to what this is, which is one of my favorite plots of this season, is this new bus crew. Because you have some people like that older woman, I forget her name, and some of the others that kind of are chill about it. They get what's going on, but you've got people like Randall. Randall, man, one of my favorites this season, I can't lie. He was a standout for me. But Randall is one of those ones, which I always wondered what it would be like to have a character like him, where it's like, he just isn't buying a damn word they say, no matter how much he sees it. I mean, literally, he throws a temper tantrum, he holds people at gunpoint, he, is trying to make his point. Hell, he goes into the darn, main house that Donna, operates in, and she kicks his ass out because he's being a fucking pest. She literally kicks him out and makes him live in this freaking bus out, in the middle of the street, in the middle of the night when the creatures are all, coming around, and he still doesn't believe it. He literally looks at the creatures right directly in front of him and says, "Fuck you, I'm not afraid, you're not scary, screw off," But you know what's funny about that? And that's why I found his character so interesting. They didn't come at him. That was insane to me. He literally stood there in the bus and looked at them, and it was like, They didn't attack. It's almost like if you tell the creatures, which again, this is really interesting lore that they brought into this season. If you're scared, they like it. If you're not scared, and if you're looking at them like they're a joke, they actually move away from you. That's a really interesting thing. I never really thought about it like that, but that's a really interesting thing. It's almost like they can tell if you're afraid, and they can tell if you're not. It's really interesting. Really interesting. But anyway, you've got him. He's kind of a threat this season, but the rest of the characters were good too. Like Chrissy's ex, or not ex, well, kind of felt like it this season with how much they fought, but Chrissy's fiance is on this bus, so we actually get a reunion between them two in the first episode, which I thought was really cool. And we get introduced to a few of these characters. You get the other guy that's kind of like the quiet guy. I forget his name, but he interacts with Sarah a lot this season too. He's kind of like a churchgoer and stuff, real kind of nice kid, by the looks of it and stuff. But he's been through some stuff. He doesn't say much. He kind of walks around with his head down a lot, But yeah, the bus crew was awesome. I thought they were really cool. A lot of cool, interesting new characters that got added to the cast and stuff. And yeah, I thought it was really good. But anyway, to discuss these episodes individually. So episode 1, I thought was really nuts, because episode 1 dealt with the aftermath of the finale. We've got Tabitha and we've got Victor that are going through the underground of this town. And we actually get a major piece of lore in this premiere where we find out that the creatures that come out at night actually kind of like hibernate in a weird way and sleep underground in the middle of the day. So if you're wondering where they are in the middle of the day, there it is. You find out as they're trying to be quiet and they kind of sneak through, which of course, they do get out. But That's only later. But we've also got Jim that's trying to get, of course, his wife out of there. And you've got some of the people from the bus that help him out. But unfortunately, the house collapses on a bunch of them. And unfortunately, the bartender guy gets taken out. He gets killed, which I thought was really sad. Jim gets out. He gets out. But one of the other new guys also gets killed. It's a really, really terrifying sequence. And then we also get the reunion with Chrissy and her, fiance to be, right? So thought it was a really cool first episode. I really liked that one. Now episode 2 gets even more insane because now we've got the bus crew that are actually inside of this place, and they are, trying to get a idea of what this is, and some people believe it, some people don't. It's just that simple, But one of the most intense sequences is the moment where you've got the creatures that come out at night, and you've got this one of them. It's almost like the leading guy so far. He's got like this big smile and stuff, And he walks in this bus, and you've got this old couple that are hiding, and he just fucking murders them. I mean, it was brutal. It made me so uneasy. I mean, honestly, the horror in this season in particular was just insane. Absolutely nuts. And then you've also got on the outside Victor, Tabitha, and now Boyd, who Boyd is a massive character in episode 2. He runs into this guy in this like crazy dungeon that's been like hooked up like this on this wall, and he's absolutely just lost his mind. I mean, he's a victim for damn sure. He's a victim, but he's begging Boyd to kill him, which of course, he kind of has to do because he ends up attacking him. But this guy, like, chained up and stuff was one of the scariest moments of the show for me. That was really fucking crazy. Like, true testament to what the hell is going on, But anyway, we've got Boyd that reunites with Victor and with Tabitha, and they, of course, get, kind of, saved and stuff. They kind of find each other and stuff, which I thought was really, really cool. But yeah, no, really intense stuff going on there. I thought that stuff was absolutely insane. And again, true testament to the horror. I thought episode 2 was really intense for that, for sure. Now, then we get episode 3. Now, episode 3 was a really intense one, too. We've got Boyd and Tabitha and Victor that, end up getting back to town in this episode. But the paranoia that's caused now is absolutely insane, because you've got a lot of stuff going on. You've got Sarah. They're kind of having a dilemma of what to do with her now and stuff. You've got, of course, this one woman from the bus crew that they find in the woods, and this was just brutal. Her boyfriend got killed, right, as we saw in episode 2 when the creatures were going around the town. And they were new to it. They had no idea, but she survived, and she's literally up against a tree, and she's got, like, a piece of metal through her fucking head, and she's, like, just bolted there, like, at this tree. And she's, like, talking with them. She's communicating with them, all this stuff. She's, like, giving her final testament and stuff. Like, I was like, holy shit. But no, that was insane. And Chrissy, she even said, she's like, and I liked how they kept it realistic, too. She's like, I can't do anything to help her. Like, I can't. There's absolutely nothing I can do, even in the normal hospital, this would take hours, it's just physically impossible. They have to put her down. So that's what Boyd does, and Boyd starts to question reality in this, which I thought was interesting. He kind of goes to his wife and he's like, maybe this is real, or maybe I'm laying in a hospital bed and you're just standing over me begging for me to wake up, like he has no idea right now. And I like that. They still question whether or not this is real, because you absolutely would, it's one of my favorite elements of the show, because it very much feels like make-believe. It doesn't feel like something you would actually, kind of experience in real life. Hell no, But anyway, I thought that was crazy. Now, one of my only flaws with episode 3, I found this stood out to be a little frustrating, is we didn't get any kind of reunion between Tabitha and Jim. They're just back together. I found like there was a lot of jumpiness. Like they didn't really give us the reunions with the family. They didn't really, give us anything. I felt like they kind of just jumped over it, like it didn't matter, which I found a little frustrating, given the circumstances, thinking that Jim was dead, thinking that Tabitha was dead, and there's just no reunion between the two. I don't know. I found that to be a little, like, huh? But anyway, that was like kind of one of my only flaws with that episode. Episode 4 was really good because you had, a lot of stuff. You had, of course, Sarah that's kind of locked up, Kenny that kind of confronts her now, which I thought was, very interesting, of course. And this episode, I mean, I thought it was crazy because you've got Victor, of course, that's kind of doing his thing. He's, trying to kind of, figure out what's going on now. You've got a lot of, kind of characters just kind of, freaking out, paranoid, about the whole thing. You've even got the bus driver of the bus that's kind of like in this bar drinking and stuff. She kind of feels responsible and stuff. We learn a little bit about her, which I thought was kind of cool. Episode 4, I thought was really good. You had some hallucinations going on. You had stuff going on there. Episode 4, I thought was really good. Episode 5 was one of my favorites because this one was about Sarah, trying to figure out what exactly they're going to do with her. You had, Tabitha that confronted her. You had Boyd that kind of wants to trust her because she saved his life, you know what I mean? And Sarah is being treated like shit in the town now. She's getting her comeuppance. She goes back for her brother's stuff. That stuff gets destroyed by Kenny because Kenny's upset because she killed his father, even though the reason why she did it is because, it was a way home, in her perspective. So it's a really tough situation. And I have to admit, by the time I got to episode 5, I felt so shitty for Sarah. I really did. I mean, maybe I'm not supposed to, but I just did. I can't help it. Like, I don't know, man. I felt so horrible for her, and what she was going through. I just can't help it, Episode 6. Now, this is my personal favorite this season. I gotta be honest. This is my personal favorite this season. I fucking loved this episode. You've got the paranoia of food, the rations that are going low. You've got Dale, this old man in the crew that kind of freaks out, and he accidentally stabs Ellis. So now there's the dilemma of what's going to happen to Ellis. Is he going to die? Is he going to not die? And they have to get him into this van, which one of the new kids gets the van. He goes out there like an absolute hero. I thought he was awesome. He comes back, he gets the van, he pulls it up to the house. It's this big rush. And they film it in one take. The trip from the house all the way to the infirmary in one take. They had one camera guy in the back of the van filming the entire process. That was slick. And then they get him there, right? It's the middle of the night. They gotta hurry. And then they make it to Chrissy. Chrissy's already dealing with her own problems because her frickin' fiance is going through withdrawals, which we find out. Which her going through withdrawals of drug, usage is basically because Chrissy disappeared and she didn't know how to handle it, so she turned to drugs, which she already had a problem with before, apparently. So this whole season, she's kind of going through withdrawals and stuff like that. But you've got, this intense sequence where Boyd is now here. His son's life is hanging in the balance. He's got a stab wound in him. They're trying to save his life. Blood everywhere. They're trying to do this operation. And Boyd is worried because ever since he's gone into, that place where he met, like, that guy that was chained up and stuff, he's got these, like, worms in his arms. He's, like, not, going so good. He's kind of seeing these hallucinations and stuff. So he's not really trusting himself at the moment either. And his son needs blood. But he's worried that if he gives his son blood, it's not going to go well because he could, do this to his son too. So Boyd has the badass idea, which I thought this was so fucking good. This is honestly my favorite sequence of the show so far. He says, fuck this shit. He walks out in the middle of the night. He walks up to this smiling guy, and he walks right up to him, and he cuts him right in the throat, you know what I mean? And he gets, basically, he gets the blood back into him, stuff like that. And he kills this guy. And he looks at this freaking creature as he kills it, and he says, I think he looks at him, and he just says, he's just like, my blood is your blood now, motherfucker. He just looks at him. I'm like, holy shit, bro. Like, seriously. That is so good. Your blood is my blood now, motherfucker. It takes him out, and then goes back in, saves his son's life, and Ellis lives, you know what I mean? Which I thought was really cool. I love that. That was so good. This episode 6 was absolutely phenomenal. Now, episode 7 was really great, too, because now it's the decision of what to do with this body, What are they going to do with it? How are they going to handle it? Stuff like that, And you've got kind of an interesting situation in this one where they're trying to cut the body open, but, they're not really sure what's going to go down, so they're kind of on edge. And you've got the operation that goes down. They basically see that there's no blood, there's no fluid in this guy's body, but there's everything else that's human, you know what I mean? So they're kind of confused on that part of things, which I thought was, kind of crazy. And you've also got Jim in this one that kind of is, worried about his family, he's kind of worried about, everything else that's going on and stuff. You got a little bit of drama that's going on. The food situation is really low still, so they're trying to handle that at the same time, which I thought was pretty nuts. It was a great episode. Episode 7 was absolutely great. I love that one. It was really a great aftermath episode after episode 6, but a lot of tension going on at the same time. Now, the next is episode 8. Now, episode 8 was insane. You had massive stuff going on with Randall. This episode is one like you fully go full force with his character. He does not believe that any of this is real. He doesn't believe in the food shortage. He doesn't believe in the monsters. He doesn't believe in any of this shit. Even after everything he's seen, he feels like this is some kind of fix. So he addresses this to Jim, and they're obviously out there trying to do their own thing, trying to figure things out. But, Jim's kind of realizing that this guy is kind of off the rails a little bit, you know what I mean? And he even goes out of his way to apologize to Donna for the way he's been acting. And the very next thing you see, and it's insane, the very next thing you actually see is Donna tied to a tree. And Jim's just like, yo, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I'm going to get answers. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, yeah, no, Randall was the star of episode 8. He was insane. But you've also got this dilemma now where apparently people that are even now going to sleep in this town are experiencing shit. And they're like getting killed in their sleep. So it's like, what the fuck, And that bleeds us into the penultimate episode where in the penultimate, you've got, of course, Donna that, of course, gets saved by Boyd, and Jim and stuff like that. They arrest Randall. Basically, they tie him up in the back of this vehicle. They have to stay in the back of this RV overnight, which is the same flipped over RV that was in the pilot episode and stuff like that. But Randall is willing to take his chances by the sound of it, and that's what he does. And Boyd says, you know what? Fuck you. Get out of here. You know what I mean? And that's what he does. And Randall goes out there, and then he gets trapped as well, too. He gets, all these, bugs and stuff on him and stuff like that, and all whatever the fuck it was. And he gets, taken out and stuff like that, quote-unquote. And it all happens to a bunch of characters. You've got Chrissy's girlfriend. She's going through withdrawals, as we've seen. She ends up, getting trapped in this shit as well, too. They can't wake her up. You've got frickin' Julie, of course, the daughter, Jim's daughter. She gets, kind of pulled into this shit as well, too. And it's getting bad. Like, you can't even go to sleep, anymore, And it's crazy because, again, now you're going through a thread of okay, you got to sleep eventually, so what the fuck is going on, So I thought that was a really, really just insane episode all the way through. I thought episode 9 was nuts. And then the finale, which is like an hour-long finale, by the way. The finale is very, very, very lengthy. You've got Tabitha that goes to this tower that they've been kind of, hearing about. Victor kind of heard about and stuff when he was younger, right? Which Victor, I want to take a second to acknowledge as well, too, broke my heart this season. I mean, honestly, when you found out that he had a sister and you found out that, the mother and stuff like that left them, but then the sister went with the mother, and then she evidently died as well too, and Victor was just left all alone. It's just sad, man. Honestly, it's really sad. But Tabitha goes to this tower. She goes to the top of the tower, and unexpectedly so, she gets kicked out and shoved out of the tower and drops several feet out, like pretty much to a level where it could kill her. By this young boy in white. The same young boy that told Boyd to go inside of this tree at the end of season 1. And I don't know what the hell happened, but we literally have Tabitha that ends up inside of this hospital somewhere else, almost like in the real world again. And she's just there at this hospital being taken care of. So I don't know what the hell is going on with Tabitha. That's kind of like how they cliffhanger you this season, but insane stuff. Absolutely insane. And you've also got Boyd in this one that, of course, decides to go with Sarah. And she's kind of experiencing these voices again, all this other stuff. And you've got Boyd that saves our characters from what's going on, because he was there before, at the spot where they're all, being chained up. So you've got Boyd that goes in there. He rescues Julie and, all the others and stuff like that. Nobody dies specifically, but, they get saved by Boyd, which I thought was really good. But it was insane. It was an absolutely insane episode. I really don't know where the fuck we go from here. I really don't. But those are the episodes right there. Those are the episodes. That's season 2. So much lore was shared. So many things were shared. So many questions I now have for season 3. I'm going to be checking out season 3 really soon. But at least for this season, You know, there were slow moments. I will agree with that. There were some slow moments, but I'd say I have a solid 9. I still loved the season. I really did. I don't get the criticism that people have. There were a few things that I would have done differently, a few reunions that I would have appreciated seeing, maybe a few dialogue choices that I would have fixed here and there, little nitpicks, but besides that, I love the story. I really do. And I really enjoy the story that they're telling. It's really, really good. So I'm in for it now. Season 3, y'all. That's the last one for now that we're going to be able to cover, but I'll be back with that next week because this one, it'll take me a bit because I'm a bit busy over the weekend. So next week, I'll be here to review Season 3, and we'll be capping off this show. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the journey. I mean, I know it's kind of a short journey, but I'm addicted to this show. So thank you all for recommending it to me. Seriously, I mean, holy shit. But here we are. I'm getting caught up. I'm getting in the recent season that everybody's in, so I'm excited for that. But anyway, thank you all for watching. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos for From. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos for From. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies hit a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.